Thank you for tuning in to the Futures Radio Show podcast. In today's show, we'll discuss the latest equities short-dated options added to CME Group, an update on the launch of event contracts, and the upcoming addition of Bitcoin futures for event contracts, and the massive growth of zero DTE options volume at CME. My guest will be the global head of equity and FX products at CME Group, Tim McCourt. Today's podcast is brought to you by CME Group. Whatever the obstacles, CME Group provides the tools that global market participants need to manage risk and capture opportunities. With 24-hour access to futures, options, cash, and OTC products across all major asset classes, you can drive your trading strategy forward with confidence and precision. CME Group, where risk meets opportunity. Tim, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Anthony. Always good to be here.
It's great to have you back. Exciting times in markets as usual. You and I have talked about so many unbelievable additions that CME has added product-wise over the past several years. We've been doing this a long time, Tim, you and I, on these shows. You know, one of the hottest things that have really hit the trading world are zero DTEs. And there isn't really a person I know that's in the trading industry that's not talking about them. And as of this past Monday, February 13th, CME Group now launched options expirations every day of the week for both micro E-Mini S&P and micro NASDAQ. Talk to us about this launch.
Yeah, absolutely. As you noted, and we talked about it several times on the show, this short-dated option trend has been around for years. But as of late, it's really accelerated in terms of the desire of market participants to trade shorter and shorter and now same day expiring options for the equity indices here in the US. And with this news, what's exciting, where we now have over 60 expirations for the S&P 500 options complex at CME across E-minis and micro E-minis, that covers 5 weeks every day. There's the ability to trade an S&P 500 related option expiry at CME. And when you look at it, it really is just giving the market what it wants. People really in this type of market where there's increased uncertainty, tension between things like inflation, employment, what are other jurisdictions going to do outside the US. People want to be really precise about their risk management. And that trend we saw, people not wanting to overpay for that exposure in terms of the theta or how much gamma they have to manage in their portfolios, that's really just accelerating as the uncertainty increases and the trading opportunities present themselves in the market. People want to be more precise, and that's exactly what these shorter dated, now daily expiries do at CME.
It's crazy. And it's really every level of trader that's trading these. It's from the trader that's brand new to trading to institutional side. I talk to so many different people in this industry. And like I said, from top to bottom of level of experience, they're talking about zero DTEs. And it's really fascinating to me. And I was looking at some of the stats and I thought this was pretty crazy. Just on CME Group side of things, in terms of volume for same day expiring options, this trend has gone from an average daily volume for the E-Mini S&P 500 in 2022 from 241.4 thousand contracts to so far in 2023 averaging 313,000.5 thousand contracts. It's almost a 30% increase, 29% to be exact, in zero DTE average daily volume just from last year, already this year.
That's right. I mean, it's wild. And just to remind people, when we say zero DTE, we're talking about 0 days to expiration. So those are things that people are trading that are expiring in hours, and they can't get enough of them. I mean, this is something that we're seeing in our markets, and it's not just an S&P phenom, right? Anthony, as you recall, we launched the Tuesdays and Thursdays on the E-Mini S&P back in April. Then it was in October, we introduced it on the NASDAQ, where we sort of now have the complete week for NASDAQ. And at the end of this month, we're doing it on E-Mini Russell. And to your point, all size traders want that. The institutional crowd and those that really like to trade the E-Mini, they have them across all days of the week. the micro crowd, they are now have them across all days of the week. And it's something that's really accelerating here even in 2023. I mean, just this week, we look at yesterday, we had Tuesday expiring options. It was a single day record for sort of the Tuesdays expiring same day with over 540,000 contracts of them trading just yesterday. And it was a banner day for Tuesdays and Thursdays, which is one of the most successful option launches at CME, those Tuesday, Thursday options on E-Mini S&P. They did almost 630,000 yesterday, and they're just a few months old. So you're seeing with not necessarily drastic volatility regime shifts, right? If we look at sort of how the indices are behaving, but the volume growth we're seeing, these zero DTE, same day, and sort of all shorter date options in general, it seems that something is really working in this market for those option strategies, and people like the short dated nature and can't get enough of them.
I know, like we said, it's pretty incredible the amount of growth at the speed of it, right? Because I think you and I talked, maybe it was a year ago, about just how much options had been growing at CME. And now we're talking about these zero DTEs that are growing at an unbelievable rate. I mean, to see almost 30% increase from last year to this year already. And really last year was a busier year. That's kind of what's incredible, right? In terms of overall volatility.
I mean, absolutely. What's also interesting, we're a few weeks into 2023, but when we look at options specifically at CME in the equity complex, we're just about flat versus 2022, doing 1.2, 1.3 million contracts a day. But compare that to some of the softness you're seeing in even the equity futures, the single stock equity ETFs, where they're down a few percentage points compared to full year 22. Options are flat, if not starting to tick up the last few days in terms of the volume. So there's really something about this market that the option traders are loving. I think it's just because they have that more precise exposure. They could pick their strikes. They could put on option spreads and combinations to really pinpoint the exposure they're looking to trade. So I think it's also the fact that when you look at just the participation in the option markets, we're seeing, a few weeks into the year, sustaining the pace from last year, which was already a record year, is really remarkable to see.
And you mentioned Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I think it's important to point this out and why I think this is contributing to this. On Tuesdays, a lot of times you have CPI, right? You've got a lot of jobs data numbers on Thursdays. You've got a lot of data that comes out that everyone is watching to see what the Fed is going to do. And you're bringing in a lot of these SPY traders that are trading options that are coming to the futures markets, right? Because you're directly trading off of the S&P 500 in an earlier market time. And, because I don't even believe, because I'm not a SPY trader, but I'm pretty sure you're not even able to trade those options that early in the morning when you are able to trade those options on the futures during the time that these events come out. And so I think we're getting a lot of those people, correct me if I'm wrong, people that are trading those SPY or QQQ zero DTEs and options are coming to futures because of the data points and the times that they come out.
I think you're right. I think when we look at some of the structural differences between the venues and the offerings out there, the fact that futures at CME are open nearly 24 hours a day, Sunday through Friday, that gives a unique advantage to that option trader or that market participant who wants to trade some of those numbers around the opening bell, or trade things at night heading into that, or maybe get out of positioning that they may have already been into. And that's a unique advantage of futures and options on futures, where when you look at for the futures, for example, it's often E-mini futures at CME often do more volume before the US cash equity market opens than the ETFs do all day, right?
Yep.
So we're talking about an entire session has already occurred before that cash session even starts. So that certainly translates to the equity options. We're seeing tremendous growth in trading outside of US hours at CME. That's been something that we've been offering that for years to our customers. It's an advantage of our Globex platform. And I think you're right. We're really seeing this as people get more and more attuned to the economic numbers, the market uncertainty, the macroeconomic drivers. They really want to position themselves. They want to hedge themselves. They want to be opportunistic about how they're deploying their trading strategies. And these are all great products. And they should also check out some of the tools we have, right? CME's got a lot of great tools like the Fed Watch tool for them to help them figure out what is the market thinking? What are they deriving in terms of some of the indicators from the CME markets? I mean, these are benchmark deep and liquid markets that really reflect the risk and the uncertainty in the world. And people could either disagree or agree with what those numbers are sort of showing them and use futures and or options to express that view. And I think we're really seeing people start to understand that these fundamental benefits that CME provides is nearly 24-hour access across all major benchmarks is only going to become more important as people head throughout the balance of 23.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you have three different trading sessions, right? You've got US, Asia, and the London session, Europe.
Yeah,
And to me, as always been a futures trader, that's always been obviously a massive benefit. But I think now we are starting to see the options people start to come alive and see this as a massive advantage to them to be able to trade these different sessions. And I think specifically these data sessions or these sessions when we have data during them. Right. And so it's great to see because it's bringing more and more people into our world, Tim, our world of futures and options, which is great. And something else that CME has added, and most people probably know that are watching this show, how much I've dedicated to event contracts. I've created an entire network on really zero DTE options, micros and event contracts that place your trades. And I saw this email coming out about the event contracts update, and it was over 350,000 contracts have traded so far. Over 1,300 unique active retail trading accounts. 43% of those have been on the E-Mini S&P, which I'm surprised it's almost not more because of the popularity of the S&P. And on average, 3.6 thousand contracts traded a day. For me, someone who's really been you and I talked about this. I thought this was going to be a huge product, and I think that it's slowly starting to show itself as becoming a great product for all levels of traders. I think this adds to the option side of things, Tim. It gives people different choices, right? You have the zero DTEs if you want to come in and trade those. You have the micro options, the weekly, if you want to trade those. And you have these event contracts if you want to come in and it's not as much volatility. It's a fixed risk. You have more things, more advantages, I think, to trading these. Maybe if you're a newer trader or if you're an advanced trader that maybe sits back and says, I just want to buy this trade and watch it settle. And we're seeing adoption from it. How's it going from your standpoint?
absolutely. I think it's going great. It's something that we're really excited about here at the exchange. And as you said, we've had great uptake since launching these back in September of last year in 2022. And even just the last few sessions, we've seen that daily volume start to really grow exponentially. Whereas you said the ADV was a little under 4,000 contracts last year in 22. But the last few sessions, we've seen 15,000, 18,000, almost 25,000 contracts trading some days. So people are really starting to figure this out. And I think this type of market makes it more interesting. And the great thing that I think about event contracts is it's bringing new participants to our market. It's giving them that smaller size contract, that fixed payout. It's a daily expiring option that it really boils down to a simple question of, do you think the price of this benchmark is going to go up or down? Yes or no? And now you can trade that view. You can express that view. The other thing that I'm excited about is of these unique accounts that are coming to CME, Anthony, more than half of them brand new first-time traders at CME, which is always great to see. It's great for the industry. It's great for the market. The more and more we can do to bring more participants into our market and give them all sorts of flavors of products to choose from, whether it's event contracts, micro contracts, the classic E-Mini contracts, it's really fun to watch these products grow and see things happen in a way that are such an additive experience to the individual traders out there. It's been a lot of fun to work on, and we're excited for what's coming next.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I've talked with you about many times before, and I think that you guys have done an absolutely amazing job at adding additional products that people are actually trading, and you're adding additional tools and different ways that people can implement their strategies. It opens the doors to new people coming into our industry, and I think this is the biggest product to open the door to newer traders. I think they can learn how to trade options and futures with these products. One thing I want to talk about is some new things that you've added to them as of late, and a product that's going to be added coming up in March. Let's start with what has recently been added. And I think this is a big reason why the volume is probably picked up. You added more strikes. You added more strikes to the E-Mini S&P, and I know I've seen that also in the NASDAQ. Those are the two I'm trading the most. Talk to us about what you guys have recently added to these event contracts.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. With launching a new product, once it's out in the wild, so to speak, you get feedback from customers, and sometimes we need to make tweaks. So we tweak the strike array with the event contracts. We sort of optimize based on where we're seeing people expressing sort of what strikes and what index levels, or sorry, futures levels that people are looking to trade around. And we just optimize it in a way that gives people more of those opportunities that they're looking to trade. And the volume growth we're seeing directly corresponds with those strike changes we rolled out on February 3rd. It's been well received by market makers. They're happy to provide liquidity. It's been well received by our retail platforms and the end users. So just keep the feedback coming, right? If you think there are things we could be doing better, there are tweaks we need to make. We understand these are new products and it takes time, but it's really great to see that type of reaction with a simple tweak to some of the strike arrays and offering some more strikes that we've seen this sort of explosive growth the last few trading sessions.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And, like I've said, I'm fully vested in this. I've created a whole network around this and other products for this. And one of the things that I think is also great that you guys are doing is you're interested in adding new products to this, right? You're adding existing products that you have, contracts that you have, such as Bitcoin, which now is going to be coming out on March 13th. And you guys don't ever rush this stuff. You do it when the demand is there, when you think that the customer is telling you that, look, we need this product now. Explain to us. I think it's important that people understand, like, okay, are they adding Bitcoin now? Why? Like, why is Bitcoin now being added to the event contracts?
Yeah, it's a great question. And when we first rolled out the event contracts back in 2022, we really focused on, let's call it, the traditional benchmark products. We had event contracts. We rolled out 10 of them on the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Russell, the Dow. We did on metals, FX, energy. These are things that are the bellwether benchmarks at CME. They are unique to CME. They're deeply liquid futures markets. And we got a lot of other requests of what we should be looking to do event contracts on. But one of the things people were asking for as soon as we made that announcement, they're like, that's great, but what about crypto? So I think we're sort of seeing the marrying of interest in event contracts with people's curiosity and enthusiasm for crypto, and they want to trade that at CME. They understand that the CME Bitcoin futures is a benchmark in its own regard with respect to the cryptocurrency space. It's based on the Bitcoin reference rate and actually gives us that ability to say, you can now trade. Do you think the price of the Bitcoin future is going up or down today? That's something that you can't necessarily do in the spot market where it never closes. So again, we're able to provide that easier, simpler product, that easier way to express the view on Bitcoin futures. And that's really what sort of tilted the scale was customer feedback. So we're excited to roll it out on March 13th. We're excited to announce it this week. The reaction's been great from customers. I also think when you think about the profile of Bitcoin, I think it's very similar. We have micro options in Bitcoin. We have standard size options in Bitcoin. We have micro futures, Bitcoin futures. There's a multitude of product choice. So it made total sense to introduce the event contract here in 2023, and really looking forward to seeing how that does next month.
I think it's going to do extremely well because I think a lot of the equities traders, a lot of the S&P traders, which right now is 43% of the event contracts, they trade crypto, right? Bitcoin is a very tradable product. And I think it's one of those things where when you add an additional tool like event contracts for a trader to come in and trade them, there's a lot of times myself, I look at Bitcoin and go, I think this thing could go up today. And do I want to buy the futures? Do I want to go to the options? It's kind of like, okay, well, I just have this bias. This is an easy way to go in and just execute on that bias. If I think they're going to go up on the day for a strategy reason or for some reason that I look at the market and think that, this is a simple way that I always say, pay for your trade with an event contract, because what you pay for is what your risk is, right? And they all pay out $20 or they pay out $0. That's it. So you just got to get above or below that close. And I think that for Bitcoin, it gets pretty interesting because there's some key levels I think traders will look at and say, I think it's going to close above this area today or below it, and there will be some plays. I want to stay on crypto for a little bit as we kind of close out today. I mean, let's face it, Tim, there's been a ton of news with crypto over the past several months. A lot of it negative, right? And crypto really struggled for a while. I mean, I think I looked at Ethereum every day for a month. I don't know if the price ever even moved. It seemed like it was just stuck there, and Bitcoin was just kind of slowly dripping lower. But it's come alive again, right? And all of the crypto people are back out. You're seeing them on Twitter. Oh, Bitcoin's back. It's had a massive run up with equities. My question for you is the volume there, or have we lost a lot of people in crypto now?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's certainly been a bit of a wild ride the last few months in crypto. Not so much from the price perspective, as you said, it's been pretty boring end of the year when you look at some of the price levels. But when we think about the ecosystem, we think about some of the players in there, some of those events that happen in the market. And the great news is at CME, we're still seeing growth in our complex. We're really seeing the market embrace the position which we've held for several years now, more than 5 years, is we want to be that regulated venue offering those regulated tradable products for futures and options on futures for cryptocurrency. And we provide that trusted access. And we're really seeing a record year in 2022 where our ADV in our complex is about 54,000 contracts. That was up 13% over 2021. And the volume hasn't necessarily slowed down, right? If we look just at January for our crypto ADV, down a little bit, but still up from the December slow period that we saw, doing about 40,000 contracts a day here in January. It's picked up even more so in January. I think we are seeing that more risk-on mentality across equity and crypto that you were alluding to. But I think when we come down to it, we still see new people coming to CME to trade crypto. And what I mean by that is if we look at 2022, before November, on average, we did about 400 new accounts per month for crypto at CME. In November, we had about 942 accounts, first time trading at crypto at CME. And then even in January, that number was about 700, right? So still more than the average. And that's because it takes a while to get through that pipeline, to open your clearing account, for your FCM to onboard, to get the market data. So the fact that we're seeing this continued pull through of new accounts at an above average rate really speaks to people want to trade crypto at CME. And we're really happy to have them come to our market, because this is something we've believed from the beginning, is that CME is the natural home for trading some of this exposure or managing your risk, because we are the trusted regulated venue, and we're here to help people manage their risk or access the market. I mean, that's what we do across all asset classes, and it's really been interesting and validating to see that value prop come true here the last few months, and us continue to welcome new traders, record large open interest holders in November, really outgrowing open interest when we look at the average daily open interest across the complex. So it's a really great story for crypto here at CME, even though it may not necessarily feel like that everywhere in the ecosystem at present.
And I think you nailed it. And it is to the reasons why you guys at CME Group are the true regulated exchange. I have multiple futures accounts, right? I have now pretty much gotten rid of almost all of my crypto accounts for lots of reasons, right? All of the news and headlines. I don't need to talk about those reasons why here. But for me as a trader, as an investor, if I want to trade crypto now, I'm using futures. And I have talked with many crypto traders that have said, you know what? If I just want to trade the price action of this, I don't want to actually own the crypto. Like some people just want to own the Ethereum. They want to own the Bitcoin. They want to own the altcoins. Fine. I get it. That's different. But if you want to trade the price action, my money is going into an account that's tied to CME Group, because it's a regulated exchange. And you're not going to have these other issues like you've had with these other ones in the past. And so I think that these users are starting to come to a realization of this. Right, Tim? And I think that and that's really what it's coming down to.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. And, what we've always talked about over the years on various of your shows is that when you think about it, I think one of the things when people if they're really looking for exposure to the price action of Bitcoin and Ether, the beauty of it is that micro Bitcoin or micro Ether contract in the system in your account, it works the same way as a micro S&P or a micro Russell contract. It's really a financially settled contract against an index. And in this case, this index is the Bitcoin reference rate or the Ether dollar reference rate, but it's familiar. They know how to trade it, and it works the same way as all our other contracts, guaranteed by CME clearing. I mean, I think that's what people are really understanding is, to your point, you can trade the price action, but in a very familiar, trusted, and regulated way at CME, because it functions the same way all of our other financially settled contracts do.
Yeah, exactly. And for me on a personal level, like I said, my money feels much safer there. And so, and because of all of those reasons, that is why I think this product will continue to grow. I think we're going to continue to see growth in crypto at CME. And these zero DTEs, just to close it out today, Tim, we talked about a lot, but I do think that this zero DTE is not a fad. I think that this is something that is real. It's got legs, and I think the growth continues. And I am just going to just sit back and watch and see, how big it really gets, because I think it is bringing in so many new people to futures, from crypto to the option side of things. It's exciting times.
Absolutely.
All right, Tim, let everybody know where they can go to learn more about what you guys are doing at CME Group.
The best resource, if you're interested in learning more about our products or checking out some of the tools and analytics that we have, is really to go to cmegroup.com. That's the best resource. You can find everything you need. You can also get in touch with all the various teams through that. So I suggest everyone go there and check out what we have. It's not just short-dated options and event contracts. There's lots of great things there for you to check out, and I encourage everyone to spend some time on the site.
Yeah, everybody go check it out. And there's so many tools out there to go and learn on CME Group. The one that I think that everybody should be using, we didn't talk about today, is that Fed Watch tool. We are at a time where watching what the Fed is doing is everything. CME Fed Watch tool. You can find that at cmegroup.com. Make sure you follow them also at CME Group on Twitter. Tim, this was a blast as usual. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Anthony.
Thank you for listening to Futures Radio Show. If you enjoyed the show, please leave a 5-star review on iTunes. Never miss an episode. Go to anthonycrudele.com and get on our email list for show notifications and for free content that is exclusively for subscribers. Also on anthonycrudele.com, you will find tons of videos and education on trading futures, options, and crypto. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Opinions expressed are solely my own and my guests, and they do not express the views or opinions of my sponsors. Futures Radio Show is produced by Crudele Productions.